I don't know if you've been looking for this or not, but I have been wanting to do a sugar caddy for a long time now. Don't go away. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I am Paul, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And indeed, today I am going to do a Hot Wheels sugar caddy. Now, I don't know why. I don't know why this car speaks to me. I am very much about the real cars, okay? Not so much the fantasy cars. But I think maybe the sugar caddy kind of crosses that barrier in both directions a little bit. It feels like Barris or Daniel would have taken a Cadillac and made the sugar caddy. And I dig that, okay? It's got a real car feel to it, but with some really great stylizations, and that really works for me. So let's quit talking about it and let's do a sugar caddy. So yes, indeed, I am happy to be doing a sugar caddy today. I don't know why. Okay, because here, let me tell you something about myself. So, in the realm of diecast cars, and especially Hot Wheels, I prefer realistic cars. Cars that are modeled after actual vehicles. Like in the Sweet 16, they were pretty much all, cars you could find out on the road. Maybe souped up and stuff, but they're real cars. I'm not really big on the fantasy crazy cars, especially the ones today. They're so outlandish. They just don't really work for me. So that begs to question, why do I like the Sugar Caddy? Well, the Sugar Caddy is sort of like a crossover car. It's like a little bit of a real car and a little bit of a fantasy car. And in fact, you know my affinity for Tom Daniel. This kind of harkens back to like a Tom Daniel design or maybe a George Barris design, where maybe they took a real car and just kind of did their own twist to it. And so, yeah, it actually really works for me. I like it. I've been wanting to do one, and so I was super happy to find one that I can actually do. So the Sugar Caddy is a car with a working hood, cap style wheels, and it has two posts. One in the rear of the body that goes from the body through the base and is mushroomed over, and then the other one is actually the motor, and it goes through the body and the base and is mushroomed over. So when you drill off that mushroom, the motor will just fall free. I'm not a big fan of working on cars like that because, you got to kind of take some sketchy moves to drill those out and stuff like that. And so I'm not really a fan of that aspect, but it does make for a pretty cool car. So, other than crummy paint, the only real negative to this casting was a giant crack in the glass, but I happen to already have some new glass in hand, and it's going to make doing this really easy. So my initial thought was that this was like antifreeze, but later when I'm actually painting antifreeze on the body, I really kind of start to think that it isn't antifreeze. I think maybe it's more like a gold. I don't really know. I just think that my initial assessment that it was antifreeze was wrong. I wasn't really just focused on it. I just thought, hey, antifreeze, I hate it, but I'm probably going to do it anyhow. So yeah, that's how that's going to go. I called it antifreeze. It probably isn't, but it's going to be antifreeze. So here you can see why I don't like doing the separate little motors, because you got to do some sketchy stuff there. You got to hold them in your fingers and clean them off and drill them and all that stuff. I think what I need to do is I need to come up with a little tool, and make a little tool for safely holding things like motors and stuff while I drill them out. So maybe that will be a video that you'll see in the future. Now, as long as I'm harping on the antifreeze color, let's talk about why. I actually love the color, and it's really nice to have a really good quality Redline in antifreeze. I love it. It might actually be my favorite color. I hate painting with it. That's the problem, because here's the deal. The antifreeze paint, for some reason, will take any flaw in your body and amplify it by like a million. And this may be a flaw that you can't even see. It may be some subtle toning that you can't see after you polish your car out. So your car looks fantastic to you until you put antifreeze paint on it, and then that toning just stands out like a turd in a punch bowl. It's terrible. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But I really want to try and use it on this car. So here is a bit of heartbreak. As you all know, I'm using newer cameras and microphones. I'm changing shot angles and trying to do a better job with my videography. And I'm not used to everything. So when I did the warm liquid goo drop, I thought I had started the recording and apparently didn't, because I don't have any footage of it. So I know you're sad, I'm sad, we're all sad. Maybe in the next video I can go ahead and double up or something. Anyhow, it's into a tub, and I will spritz it with Flitz calcium, lime, and rust remover. This stuff is amazing. I'm going to put it on and immediately take it to the sink to wash it, bring it back, and then I'm going to start to hit it up with the brass bristle brush. Because frankly, the body looked totally crappy. Okay, I wasn't sure that I wasn't going to have to do several coats of zinc plating. I didn't know. It looked really, really bad. But I thought, hey, at least try the Flitz calcium. So I did. And believe it or not, once I hit this thing up with the brass bristle brush, the body is beautiful. I mean, it is spectacular. I'm stunned at how good this comes out. So I only recently started using the Flitz calcium, lime, and rust, and I got to tell you, I will swear, I'll take my oath on it. This stuff is amazing, and you're going to want it. And if you want it, you can go to my Amazon page by going to www.amazon.com/shop/Paul Udelis, and there you can get all the stuff you need. I also have a promo code for Flitz down in the description below, so if you want any of their products, you can get it from them and save a few bucks. So after the spritzing and the brushing, it's time to go ahead and polish the body with the Flitz Polish. Now, the body already looks phenomenal, so I'm expecting big things here. As you can see here, I'm using one of these dandelion-looking buffing heads that I love, and I also have those available on my Amazon store, so you can find them there. I love these things. So, as expected, with very little time and very little effort, the Flitz and a polishing wheel are making this thing a gleam. I actually have high hopes that the antifreeze paint job is going to come out great, because this body is surprising me. I really didn't have a lot of hope for it, but it is stunning. And if any casting is going to take the antifreeze color well, it's going to be this one. So I've got her all buffed out. She's shining like a penny, and we can go ahead and move over to the paint booth. So I am using antifreeze Spectraflame paint that I got from the Redline shop, and I have mixed it up with some of their hardener. And as always, I'm going to lay this down with several tack coats, then some medium coats, and then I will put down nice, heavy, wet coats, heavy enough to get that beautiful, deep, glossy finish that I love, but not so heavy that it will run or sag. So it's a fine line there. Practice will make perfect. I got to tell you, I'm feeling really good about this paint job at this point. Now, listen, you know I love to put the clear coat on. When I'm doing more of a straight restoration, I generally don't do that. I feel like the paint, the Spectraflame paint with the hardener in it, gives me just the right amount of gloss. The clear coat kind of takes me past that. And although I love it, I don't really like to do it on a straight up restoration. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set the body aside to dry, and while that's happening, I'm going to give the base and the motor the same treatment that the body got. So out comes the Flitz Calcium, Lime, and Rust, and then we will brush it and polish it with our Flitz Polish. So I know a lot of you cringe at the fact that I really abuse and just don't give the wheels very much respect. Well, they're old, they're beat up, they look like garbage, and with the quality of the wheels I get from Bright Vision, I just don't see any reason to save them. If they're nice, I'll keep them. Otherwise, I don't. So what I do when I'm doing cap style or even hub wheels is I leave them on as long as possible to protect either the back of the cap or the hub itself. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm working on the base. The old wheels are still on there. I'll pop them off after everything else is done. So just like the body, we're going to go ahead and use the Flitz Polish here. We're going to get this base shining like a penny, and we're going to make sure we do the motor and make it look fantastic as well. So, Renaissance Wax comes to you courtesy of my coin ringing videos. It is a product I use after the rings are done to protect the finish on them. And I started to think, why not on diecast? We have bases and motors and all sorts of stuff that we don't want to paint, but we don't want those things to tarnish again. So, after everything's polished and cleaned and shiny, I hit them up with Renaissance Wax, smear it on with my finger, buff it off with a nice microfiber towel, get that shine back, and now it's protected and it should last for a very long time. Cap style wheels are absolutely the best. I should just really stop doing any other castings other than castings that have cap style wheels because they're so wonderful to work with. You take your X-Acto knife and you just kind of work it in between the back of the cap and the cap itself, kind of work it in, and then give the blade just a little bit of a twist, and off it goes. And there you have it. It's that easy. Then when we've got all the caps off, we can take the brand new ones and put them on. Now you already know I'm going to be using deep dish chrome style wheels on this casting. Whether they belong there or not, I don't care. I know I'm doing a restoration and I should be true to what belongs there, but to that, okay? Well, I'll tell you, that is just so slick. And unless you have a bad suspension board or something like that, this is how it goes. It's so easy. I love this, because otherwise, axles and wheels and all that, they can be the biggest part of your project, but not with a good cap style setup. Pop them on and you're business. So I didn't realize that the glass I ordered for the Sugar Caddy was a 2-pack that had both a blue and a clear glass in it. Now, in my last Hot Wheels video, I did the whipped creamer, and I put the clear glass on it, and it looked amazing. I loved it. It came out so good. And so my first instinct was to put the clear glass on this, but I just wasn't feeling it. And the blue, frankly, with the antifreeze green just worked better. I really preferred it. So you see, I'm testing out the clear one, and I just didn't like it. I end up going with blue. So let's get this sucker together. I've got the glass mated with the interior, and we'll go ahead and set that in. Once we get everything aligned, then we can go ahead and lay the base down over the body and pinch everything together, and we'll run the first screw in. Now, generally speaking, I use 172 and 256 screws, depending on the application. And for the most part, I've been using the 172s almost universally. I just find they work better, and they give me a little more wiggle room when it comes to drilling out the posts. So anyhow, I've gone ahead and placed the motor in and putting that final screw in here. And with the exception of a little bit of detail painting, we're just about done with this car. So the back taillights get painted in using Tamiya Clear Red. And here's an interesting little side note. I couldn't remember what the front of the car looked like. So you remember the video I did and caught a lot of flack for about that show here recently? I won't name its name, but I bought that book there. Anyhow, I dug that out, looked up Sugar Caddy, and it said to paint the front black. So I did that indeed. Well, there she is, my Sugar Caddy, and she is in antifreeze green, and I think that really worked out well, so I'm super pleased about that, and I think the blue glass really worked great with the antifreeze. I hope you liked this car, and I hope you liked the video. And if you did, please give it a giant thumbs up, click subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss one of my restoration videos. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Well, that's going to do it. I'm going to get out of here. I got tons to do. So I'm going to go and get to work. All right. Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying, be good.